Of course, here in Terrace Talk, we like to talk all sports, I suppose, and that's the beauty of sport. It doesn't really matter what you have, whether you're the hurley or a football or whether you've got athletics, and it leads us on to athletics because it is a sport that we have a proud tradition here in the county, and I suppose from time to time we kind of forget it. We kind of remember it, and we remember it when we win something, and of course we will be celebrating some great news there over the Nationals at the weekend. But leading on to that, I'm delighted to be joined by Thomas Griffin, of course, of Killarney Valley, well known. Thomas, athletics is a huge part of our tradition, and I suppose at times we kind of lose sight of it, but it's very important to remember it and keep that light going.
Yes, Donald, it's about the sport of athletics, and I'm here chatting on behalf of Kerry Athletics and the Kerry Athletics community. Great man Tom Joe, who had passed away, was the voice of Kerry Athletics, so we definitely won't be trying to replace Tom Joe. But the slot here, just to try and tell the story around the sport. So in Kerry, there's actually 12 clubs. In North Kerry, there's 6 operating. You've got Listowel AC, St Brendan's and Artfert, Tralee Harriers, Spaughfeen at Barrow, Unreacht, and also Castle Island AC. In Mid Kerry, there's 2 clubs, Farnfore Main Valley and Star of the Lown. And in South and East Kerry, there's 4 clubs operating: Killarney Valley, Guineve Gwilla, Evora AC and Kinmare. So there's clubs everywhere for people to join. And again, it's grassroots level where people experience community games like yourself this weekend, with I think 1,200 kids participating. Yeah, and then funnels right through to the high performance side of things. And I know you'll be talking to one of the high performance athletes here soon. So we had lots of things going on in athletics this weekend. So just to give your listeners an idea of what was going on in athletics, the Tailteann Games, we had a couple of Kerry athletes compete in the Tailteann Games. So what is that? On Friday, the very best kids from secondary schools athletics have come through Munster schools athletics, Irish schools athletics, and then into representing their province. So it's a provincial selection event, and there was 3 athletes from Kerry competing. 3 of them took medals. Oisin Lynch, who's operating out of Killarney Valley AC in St Brendan's College, he took a silver medal in the 800 metres. Jason O'Reilly, also from Killarney Valley AC in St Brendan's College in Killarney, took a silver medal in the 400. And a fantastic young athlete, Molly O'Riordan, out of Listowel AC and Tarbert Comprehensive, she represented in the 4x300 metre relay for the Munster team and took a bronze medal, and she was also 6th in the 300 metre hurdles. Good news is Oisin and Jason have also been selected on the Irish Schools Athletics team, so they'll be both getting their first Irish vests, which is a fantastic achievement. So that was Friday, what went down. That led us into the National Senior Championships that was televised last night on RTE, and there would have been Kerry competitors in that, and I'm glad to say there was 14 Kerry athletes competed at the very pinnacle of the sport. They competed across lots of events. There was throwing, there was sprinting, there was jumping, there was middle distance, and there was also relay runners. So you had a number of medals taken. So Kerry Athletics and the representatives of Kerry Athletics would have taken 3 medals. So you had current Olympian David Kenny out of Farnfore Main Valley took a bronze medal in the 10-kilometre walk. And just to put it in perspective, the 10-kilometre walk was won by training partners of David's who aren't Irish athletes, but they were able to compete in the Irish Championships. The winner, who is a Swedish athlete, he walked the 10K in 37 minutes, which is actually the fastest time in the world this year. So when you have that standard of athletics happening here in Ireland and our local athletes competing at that level, you know then something is happening right within the sport. Mm-hmm. And indeed, the types of events, you had a relay team out of Listowel AC, a girls' relay team, 4 girls in it: Sinead Hunt, Rebecca Falvey, Rachel Nealon and Megan Lynch. 4x100 relay sprinting is something that's very skilled. Relay running, from people from community games, I would have seen what's involved in the training for that, but at the elite level, these girls took a silver medal, and it just shows you that female sprinting in Kerry and female sprinting in Ireland is on a high at the minute. So for them to achieve that was fantastic. You also had Sarah Leahy, who I think you'll be talking to soon, took a silver medal in the 200 metres and also made the final of what was probably the hottest 100 metre sprint on Irish soil. Yeah. So it was absolutely tremendous. There was lots of other competitors from Kerry that competed, and just to kind of name check some of them, you had the distance runners, Jack O'Leary out of Killarney Valley AC in the 800 metres, Niamh O'Mahony out of Riocht, a fantastic distance runner who's up in Cunning. She ran 17 minutes for 5K. Sean O'Brien is a Killarney athlete who's actually running for Cork Track Club. She made the 1500 metre final and came 7th. And also, I suppose, one of the medals that didn't happen, that should have happened, was Oisin Spillane out of Tralee Harriers in the steeplechase. He just clipped the last barrier in the water jump and went from leading the race to coming fourth. So again, I'm sure he'll be back next year giving it a go. But it just shows you the level that these guys are operating at. We obviously had David in the walk. In the throws from Tralee Harriers, you had a great traditional thrower whose dad is a fantastic thrower as well, a gentleman called Alan O'Connor. Alan came 7th in both the shot and discus. And again, in athletics, there is something for everybody, and that's an important message for the listeners, is that if it's a sport you're thinking in getting involved in, there's so many disciplines within the sport that there is something for everybody. So just find your local club and maybe step up and volunteer and be a coach, because with 2,000 members in all those clubs across Kerry, we're always looking for help, and every club is crying out for assistance to keep the show going. Jumpers, you had a number of jumpers between long jump and high jump. So you had Ciara Kennelly out of Killarney Valley was 6th in the ladies high jump. So Ciara's an international standard high jumper. Jordan Lee, who your listeners will know very, very well. Jordan is a Paralympic athlete who competes in the able-bodied circuit as well. Jordan had an unfortunate day where the wind played havoc with the jumpers. And that's something in athletics where the wind can either be your greatest enemy or your greatest friend. And Sarah will probably talk about that later in the challenges with the winds. Killian Griffin in the long jump didn't perform to the level that he normally performs at. And then there was also another long jumper, Madison Wilson Walker out of Killarney Valley. Maddie just didn't get a mark as well yesterday because, again, the winds were extremely challenging. Sprinters, you had out of Tralee Harriers, you had Basit Oyabanji, who's a guy who's been involved in the sport for a long time in Tralee. He had a breakthrough season this year. He ran 10.99 for 100 metres a week and a half ago and joined a uni club of sprinters out of Kerry who've run sub-11 for 100 metres. His clubmate, Killian Griffin, who's a 10.8 100-metre guy, he made the semi-finals yesterday. Probably was disappointed not to make the final because that's the level that he's at. Again, winds blowing in his face of minus 8 metres per second means that you're not going to hit the times. You had Dion Marcos out of Ryuk Athletics Club. Dion ran a great race in the 400 metres. He was 4th in his heat. But again, the 400 metres this year is absolutely stacked with, you know, guys that have done the Olympic Games and are competing for places on a 4x4 relay team. And also Kevin Lynch, one of the coaches, who's also a masters athlete out of Listowel. He's still putting himself out there racing senior athletes. So that's a great thing to see. So overall, Kerry Athletics, I think, fantastic achievements through a lot of clubs, a lot of great things going on, and the funnel of performance is wide at the base. That's why we need people stepping up, helping up from a volunteering point of view, and that funnel goes through to the performance. And you've got Sarah here to talk to now that'll talk to you about performance.
Yeah, absolutely, talk about performances. I suppose, look, I know Sarah a long time, and she was running around the field very lively at the time with Legion jerseys on her. But now, like, God, Sarah, Belgium, Athens, Geneva, heading off to Stockholm. Does it ever stop?
I hope it doesn't. So far, so good.
Brilliant. I looked at those 200 metres, and my God, you took off 100 miles an hour around the corner and the whole lot, and just coming down the back straight, pipped on the line. Was that something that when you were going into the 200 metre final, you said in your own head, yeah, this is gold for me, I'm as good as everybody in this race, this is me, or did you kind of surprise yourself even?
I definitely went in with high hopes because I knew the competition, they're all very good, and for the 200 that was there, I knew I was kind of up there with them. I knew the girl, Lauren Can, that was running with, like, she was the competition to beat. And obviously the other girls I train with, Alana Ryan and things, they're obviously excellent athletes. But I did go in with very high hopes. I knew I was capable on the day to hopefully win the gold. And I started off very well. Obviously the heat went very my way. I was very happy with it. Into -5 win, 24-4. Unfortunately, I think I put a bit too much into the heat and didn't leave enough for the final. So, and as well, I'm just getting the experience as well with each race to learn to kind of keep my cool during the race. If somebody's running beside me or catching up to me, not to tense up the shoulders and things. So it's definitely an experience I need to work on. So I was still delighted with the silver, senior.
Well, I mean, it's not any ordinary silver; it's a national silver. I mean, you're the second fastest woman, beaten by hardly a fingernail to that goal. So I mean, that put things in context. And I suppose when people look across the weekends, I mean, they're looking at big names like Phil Healy and a lot of big names actually, an awful lot of big names now in the ladies circuit. I mean, sprinting one time was probably more. We looked at the male, and funnily enough, we had a male 100 metre runner, Trevane Morrison, when he was in here a couple of years ago. He won 100 metres for the men here in Tralee, and he's departed since. But what is happening in the ladies' world, particularly in athletics, that we're turning more and more? I suppose we're going from kind of being at the back of the group nationally or internationally, kind of now we're mid-table and we're moving up, and we certainly have an awful lot of talented relay runners.
Yeah, no, it's definitely great to see, and they're getting this kind of more recognition and support that they deserve. The ladies that are up there really high, like Molly Scott, Rashida and all those, Joan Healy coming back and Sarah Lavin, they've been there, they put the hard work in, and it's really great to see that they're getting the medals and the recognition that they deserve and things, and be travelling to the worlds and stuff, and with relays or individuals. So it's definitely very exciting to be watching out for all of them.
And not only that, of course, you're in a 100-metre final now as well. You're silver, fantastic performance. You put it away. You must get over that disappointment, and then you rock on then to 100 metres. And I mean that 100-metre final. I mean, they said yesterday it was a race for the ages at that level. I mean, obviously you weren't. You were running your own race down your own lane, getting home as fast as you can. But I mean, there must be some buzz that that this is an epic race. You're involved in it, and do you know what? You're learning and you're developing your craft and your trade. I mean, and this is all hugely positive for you. But what's it like to be involved in a race when you can see the two? Was it? I'm going to miss the name, of course. With Rashida and Molly Scott, of course. Absolutely, Molly Scott thought she had it on the line. Now, if you thought you had it on the line at 200 metres in the race before, she thought she had it on the line. What's it like to be coming off the track with those athletes?
It's honestly, it's amazing. It's such an honour to be able to be at the standard that I can actually run against them, especially in the final and things, to make it and to experience it with them. And even just to watch them and learn from them, and even to be friendly with them, talk to them and stuff, is great. Just events to be at and experiences. Yeah.
And of course, it brings you into a level now where you're on that kind of relay track and circuit with other runners, most of them your competitors for most of the year. But now you're going away, I presume, maybe in camps or you're going away to the games. What's it like going away? A Killarney girl on her own, heading to Geneva, heading to Greece, heading to these places. Is it dream come true land, or are you still at the measured level where you're kind of saying, well, look, I'll work on this now and I'll get to the next level?
Yeah, I suppose like what you said, I'm getting a taste for it now, and I'm definitely, hopefully, not finished. I want to keep going, getting better. Like the final yesterday, I was obviously delighted to get there, but I was a bit disappointed with the result. I know there was more in me. I was a bit more, I think I should have finished higher than I did. I just didn't perform at the time. So I definitely think with more training and hopefully more experiences with international or even with the relays, I'll get further up and grow my levels and experiences and stuff like that. So I am excited.
Are people in athletics harsher on themselves on their own performances? I know in a team sport, you can say, oh, we didn't perform, or the guy in the full forward line didn't perform, or the guy in the corner back line was taken. You really are on your own. I mean, you're at your most honest. I mean, it's just literally you and your effort. Is that hard sometimes to judge yourself on that performance, or is that just the nature of the beast of the game?
I think everyone is kind of the same. We are kind of harsh on ourselves because we know the training we put in, what we can achieve, and if your body doesn't do it on the day, you are going to be a bit disappointed in yourself. But it comes down to, obviously, when you do well, it's thanks to everybody around you, the support, the coaches, the training. It's not just for yourself. But when you do kind of have those tough days, you are, I suppose the sport is kind of unforgiving. You kind of mess up once and that's it, especially in like a 100-metre sprint or even the longer races, 800. Whereas in a team sport, you kind of mess up once and like 10 minutes later you get a goal. It is very different. So it is kind of all, when it comes down to it, it is just kind of you and your performance on the day. But when there's highs, there's huge highs, and then it is thanks to everyone else around you. So it is.
Are you looking forward to the weekend?
Very much so, yeah. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you're bouncing out of a very, very positive national championships. I would hesitate to say that a lot of people mightn't have known you before those national championships. Now you're appearing on those team sheets, you're appearing on the results, you're appearing on social media, and even for your own club, Killarney Valley, to have that graphic up there, and Raheny and where all those other clubs are, and Donegal, the whole lot, and Killarney Valley AC. I say they're exceptionally proud of you back there.
I think so, yeah. They definitely support me in every way they can, and they're very, very nice, and they really show their gratitude and things like that, and they're
we'll be finding out a lot more from Tomas. Tomas, we're going to keep this slot going once a month. You'll keep us up to date. You're not replacing anybody, but you're doing your own thing, which is fantastic. Sarah, we're going to be keeping a look on your results. now seeing that the whole county knows who you are, they'll all be harsh on you and they'll be all looking for the results. But you know what, it's great because you know what, the more people that know what you do out there, you will get a little bit more support. And you know what, I think everybody in Kerry should be getting behind their athletes. And even the Tailteann Cup ones and the ones that have appeared. And of course, David Kenny is just out the road from me as well. Rob Heffernan, of course, is training him and training the person that came in first place. So maybe he's only holding him back. We'll take a break.